So, okay, so yeah, as Mark just mentioned, I graduated from Bentley MSST in 2015, and then I started my my position as a junior software engineer, and now I'm kind of in my mid-career. And in 2014, I worked for Mark in CS Sandbox. I think I was doing a lot of tutoring. I also hosted some events, just like this one. So right now I'm working for Spotify, and my work is backend engineering. So I would say I'm not that good at web development, but I think as for web development, Nicholas will share more experience for that. I'm more like a backend folk. So basically, this kind of my career journey. Sorry, go back. Okay, this one. I joined Spotify, MSIT, and then obtained all those knowledge that qualifies me as a software engineer. And then I work for CS Sandbox, which is kind of a way to kind of you reinforce my technical background and prepare me for a career in engineer. And then I found my first job after I graduated. I was among those lucky ones. I was able to find a job, a secure job before I graduated. And then, after a few years, 2 years, I think I joined, and then I left my first employer, which is because I found, I found a limit very fast. And then I went to a slightly bigger company, which is Staples, which I think you all know. You can see the stores everywhere. And then but I only stayed 1 year in Staples. It's because I realized that the company is not what I'm looking for. I will explain more reason why I left Spotify. Why I left Staples. And then I went to a smaller company, which is Brightcove. You probably not hear about, but still, its headquarters is in downtown Boston, and it is a online video platform company. I would say in this way. So this Brightcove is more like a commercial version of YouTube. I know, like you probably have a YouTube account and then host videos there and probably do live streaming also. And also, I think most of the users in YouTube's are individual or non-commercial or non-enterprise users. But there are enterprise users in YouTube too. But Brightcove is more like facing to those enterprise users for their marketing campaigns while using videos. It's a very fun company. I enjoy life in there. It's like more very, 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 engineer driving culture, and you have a lot of autonomy there. Yeah. And then after a few years, 2 years, and then I joined Spotify, and worked for Spotify since 2020. So this is kind of my journey after I graduate. And then I think any questions regarding kind of my journey? I know it sounds like I went to different companies, but there are reasons. Yeah. So no, okay. We can either ask questions in the middle, or we can leave the questions to the end when you guys know more about me later. And then so I think the first question, sorry, any questions? No. Okay, go. Okay, I'll continue. So I think the first question a lot of students are interested in or want to ask themselves why, what kind of career they want to choose after graduate, and why I choose to be a software engineer. I think in the world, every single people is different. For me, the first reason is about personality. I I realized in a young age that I'm not that interested in, social networking, and I'm not that keen to, dressed up and, basically mingling among people and doing business. And then I think like so in my young age, I realized I want to make something. For example, make some models, do some crafts, or even do woodwork. I think I'm more like, I would say a craftsman, or craftswoman. And I think software engineer is very similar to it. So basically use your skills to make something so solid. It's not like, doing a business or doing finance that you also use your skills, but you make something that more virtual, like money or number. So, and also, I feel like making something solid can make me make me feel accomplished. And also, and then when I went to school, after doing some exams and study, I realized that I'm pretty much good at programming. So basically, I can, I have some very clear logic thinking and can basically pick up a new language very fast. And then the final reason is like, okay, this industry is very trendy, a lot of demands, and it's still going to boom for, I would say, next 10 to 20 years. Yeah, that's kind of my reason for being a software engineer after graduate. Let's see, next. And then a little bit story about my first job. I think for me, it's like I said, I was among those lucky ones. I didn't like spend too much effort on hunting a job at that time. It's partly because I didn't realize that I have to graduate. I think at the school, I just, as in some semesters, I chose too many courses and I just realized that I graduated faster than I expected. And then, at the end of that last semester, I realized, okay, I have to find a job. And then I was lucky because, Bentley always provide very like a phenomenal and a great career service. And I just put out my resume there and apply some jobs in the Bentley Bentley career site. I think right now there must be a way better one than when I was here. And then I passed the interview and I got hired. And interestingly, I know like in Bentley, you probably have the class, Java programming class, or or even mobile programming in Java. At least you learn Java, this programming language in Bentley. But interestingly, my first job has nothing to do with Java. The first job I picked or I got hired, the food technology stack they use in the company, like I don't really learn anything from school, but the specific language or the specific technology being used is not, I realize it doesn't matter that much. It's more about the fundamentals. It's like if you understand the fundamentals of programming, you can pick up any language at work very fast. And if you know the software development process or principles, you can understand why this company have this process very easily, and then adapt it to how they do work very fast. So I think it's kind of a good lesson that as a new grad, or last year students in school, if you look at some job description saying, okay, this company is looking for some kind of skills, don't be scared if you don't have a certain skills in their list. They probably don't care that much about if from a new grad. They care more about your attitude, and if you're doing a good job, if you have already learned what you should at school, which in return reflects if you are kind of dedicated or how to say that, like hardworking people or whatever, or humble people, yeah, that's kind of learn from my first job. And then I left my first job after 2 years. Is because I learned something from the job itself. So, and then when I look back, I think these 5 points are kind of important for young professionals. First thing when I look back is that should I choose a big company, those big names like Google, Facebook, or a local company or small one, no name, you call it, like the one that I chose when I graduated. The second is, my conclusion is that either way, it doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter. I think the cost of making mistake when you're young is low, it's much lower than when you make mistake when you're older or in a mid-age. I think there are 2 ways. Like if those like big companies, if you want to join their interview or even be qualified to their interview, you have to spend a lot of time to practice either their online programming, quizzes, or even system design knowledge, which we probably don't even know what it is in school. You have to kind of spend a lot of time on that while you're job hunting in your last semester. And they're definitely harder, especially right now. The kind of new trend is instead of recruiting fresh new grad, they're looking more and more candidates with 1 or 2 year background, maybe real industry background. So which in turn makes it a little bit harder for new grads nowadays. But you have like an easier option, which you can join the smaller companies, local companies, which are very neat to get talent. So for those companies, like the process is quicker. Maybe the challenge is not that much, and also you have less fewer competitors. It might be easier for just the startup, jumpstart your career. And like I said, once you gain 1 or 2 experience, real world experience, from any company, then you can, know more about what would you like to do in the future. And also you put that 1 or 2 years experience in your resume, you'll be even more qualified, to go to the bigger companies. Again, when the fact is, regardless if you're a new grad or people like me with some years of experience, the process of preparing for interviews for those big name companies is still the same. You still have to go do all those online testing quizzes, coding challenges, and the process is the same. So once you have experience, I think the process is much easier. Or if you just a fresh graduate from school, yeah. So don't worry if you don't get into those big name companies as your first job. It doesn't matter. You have plenty of opportunities in the future. No worries. It's not how we start matters, how we end, or how we enjoy the whole process matters. Okay, next, jump to the next. Again, I think the second point I also mentioned in my previous slides, when you look at the job description, you know that you don't know some of those technologies, or you don't know any of those. No worries. I'm pretty sure that they put it there because they're just made that a job description based on template. just go ahead and show them what you are, show the employers what you are. And then again, show them what you are, show them that as a student, you have already done, you're a great student, you have already done what a good student should have done in school, and to show your potential. And then attitude, I think for most employers, what they're looking for from a new grad is they want to learn attitude, their enthusiasm about the job, the career, and also I know, like for some people, after a few years in their job, especially for people in some small companies, they can see their limit, and they're wondering where to go next. When you feel that you hit a certain limit, don't be worried or nervous. Just go beyond it and find your next stop in your journey. Yeah, I think it seems that I learned a lot from my first job. Hopefully those are valuable to you guys too. And then after my first one, then I went to different companies. It's because I've been thinking what I want to do. After my 40s, 50s, and there are some challenges when you become a mid-career, when you reach your mid-career. So basically, I think right now for me, I have to think is more about where to go. Should I stick to be a software engineer, to be a domain expert in certain things, or I should be an engineer manager, which a lot of people choose to be when they are getting older and older. It's not because of they are not able to program anymore. It's just that they think being a manager has a bigger scope, and also help them to basically grow in their career. And also I think I can talk more in our Q&A session. Like in my early careers, I dipped myself into different technology stacks. I program in Java, in C#, even in Clojure, which most people don't know this language, and even Python. Right now I go back to programming in Java again. In Spotify, it's like I jump around, but I think at some point I think myself I should go deeper, be an expert in some technology stack, rather than have a sip of everything. And then also I think when I look back, when I'm a new grad, I didn't care about how much they pay me. But now, after a few years, I think I know how much I'm worth, and I care about, basically, I more care about if the employer value me, and also I care about if this job I choose will help my future career, rather than when I was like younger. I more valuable. I value more about the opportunity to learn new stuff. Yeah. Okay, that's something in the future. I mean, it's very personal to me, but I think I think if you were in my age, you probably were also wondering the same thing. What I've been thinking, like a totally different career, not be no longer being a software engineer at all, or I see my friends, creating their own startups, and or joining a startup, and basically try a different lifestyle, and also maybe back to school, learn something new. If, for example, if I want to have a startup, I may gain some business knowledge from school, maybe Bentley, and something more. Yeah. I know that I mentioned that I would like to share more about my life in Spotify, but I think it's kind of better to talk about it in the Q&A session, you can ask me questions about Spotify. Yeah, I think so far that's kind of my learnings or my experience after graduate as a software engineer. Yeah, let's go. Let's Q&A.
Oh, we're good now.
Since a lot of people asked about what it's like to work at Spotify, can you tell us?
Yeah.
What's a typical day like for you?
Okay.
What's this thing?
Yeah, I think since pandemic is still kind of not completely ended yet, so the day-to-day work now is different than your so basically so it depends. So basically, I would like to describe my day like quarter by quarter. So basically, Spotify have a thing called like objectives. You have a quarterly objectives, and like beginning of each quarter. And then their plannings. So basically, in order to achieve this object, what kind of dev project, work has to do. So we plan it out. And then we use more the Kanban approach to kind of do the project management. And then once you have a kind of milestones for the quarter, then you stick your life to your goals for the quarter. So as a software engineer, to be honest, my life is 80% of meeting and 20% of the dev. Especially in the pandemic, I feel actually I work more. So basically spend like 80% of the day meeting, knowing what we need, knowing what the customers needs, and meeting with different teams, especially the data engineers, not data engineers, data scientists. So basically, well, every single action you take on Spotify app is logged in the back end. So basically, you click this track and you listen for like 2 minutes for this track. All those data can tracked in the back end. And then, we use those, user interactions data to make decision based on, we know what kind of tracks you like, what artists you like, and you may also, like other artists. I think that so basically, my day-to-day work is just to make it happen. That in the future, in the ideal world, when you open Spotify app, you don't even need to use the search bar at all. We feed you what you like, or we feed you what you think you like. And then our goal is to let you to listen to Spotify created tracks, and so basically we engage our customers to Spotify, and we know exactly what you like. Yeah.
Other questions from anybody online?
I probably had a question. So what type of innovations from a technological perspective is Spotify looking at to like grow in the future?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think all the innovations in Spotify are data driven. So so the organization I work for is called personalization. From the name, you know that is about using your personal app interaction data to predict your behavior. And also to, I think there are two ways. So one innovation is made to make the user to give more interactions or give more feedbacks to Spotify. For example, like TikTok, you probably spend like hours or the whole day on TikTok. Is so addicted. Addictive, but I won't say like Spotify goal is to make you addictive. I would say like our goal is to make you to play with like more play with Spotify, give more interaction, give more signals. Another side of story is like another way of making the innovation is like once we have all your tastes, let's say, we want to give exactly what you like. It's more about using the data, making some. So I can give you a very solid example. What I'm doing right now. So when you, for example, you open the album, let's say Adele album, and you see a track list. Yes, those are track lists are related based on your taste. But right now we're going to we have some tests that's going on that makes that track list interactive. So basically, for example, you listen track A for 5 minutes, but you skip track B just for after 5 seconds, and then we're going to recommend more things for track B. For track A, which you listen more, and also we're going to introduce some icons like you click, you show your mood or you show your feeling to this specific track, and then we just recommend it accordingly. So far, all the kind of innovations is around personalization based on the user's data. Yeah.
So apart from like maybe artist and genre, what if someone chose a certain track to listen to all the way through, but skipped another track? Are there any other things you're looking at, maybe in a particular song, to identify like what makes that song unique?
Yeah. So so each single song is actually has is vector. There are different type of vectors representing different features. For example, each track has acoustic. Since for example, you have acoustic vectors, and that means in the backend we can calculate the vector distance between tracks so that we know how similar tracks are to each other. For example, for example, you like one of those tracks, then we can easily find all other tracks that has the least vector distance to the track that you just liked, and then I will recommend that those tracks, those most similar tracks to you. Well, I think album is not a good example, is because album is usually the artist defined things, but there are other artifacts. For example, I'm not sure if you have you ever used a radio or some kind of mix. I think since those are more flexible, they're for example, they're more like flexible or they're mixed, so it's kind of easier to do personalization of those kind of sets. Yeah, rather than album is not a good example. Sorry, for example, I should use indie mix as an example. Yeah.